Hello, this is a video to say I found the perfect cherry blossom. So let me explain how I found the perfect cherry blossom. Throughout all of history, the Japanese people was looking for the perfect cherry blossom. But I'm the person who found it. Lain Iwakura is the person who found it. There's a Toho game called Perfect Cherry Blossom. I like Toho because I was a gypsy, someone who reads JP on 4chan. Essentially, what I'm saying is I found the perfect cherry blossom by doing deep introspection over a very long period of time. Really, my whole life, which is 20, I'm 26 years old now. I'm 26 years old. So, how did I find the perfect cherry blossom? Also, by the way, I'm trying to look like Megumin by looking like a black cat. That's why I was going to buy women's clothes that make me look like a black cat. I have women's sweatpants. I was going to buy a black bra, but that doesn't fit my rib cage. So I just didn't buy it. I'll try to find one later on. Essentially, I found the perfect cherry blossom once I realized. I said to myself, because remember how I used to say for a very long time I was saying that I was a black woman, but then I realized, oh my god, I'm not even a black woman. My skin is actually pitch black. My skin is actually a pitch black color rather than just black skin, but a pitch black color, as black as ink, as black as pitch. So, really, what I am is an ink stone. So, a stone of ink, which is the stones they used to grind ink in ancient times. Like in ancient Asia, they would grind ink on a grinding stone with a stone of ink, and they would use water and make ink out of that. So, a block of ink, an ink block or an ink stone, that's what I really am, a dragon who is an ink stone. But then something amazing happened because I realized there's actually more than 8 ears on my head. So I said before there was 8, but there's actually 10, discluding these two on the side. There's 10 ears along the top of my head because I realized I was an elf. So I'm actually growing elf ears about right here that are protruding out of my head there. I have wings on my back and a tail, and they are continually getting larger. My breasts naturally got larger without HRT, which means that it wasn't necessary for me to take HRT at all. And I don't take that anymore. My breasts are growing naturally larger. And I'm also growing the udders of a bull right here on my belly. There's a uterus within me, which is connected by a tube to my anus, which is actually a part of the vagina. And the dick and balls in the front is a part of the vagina as well. And actually, the head of the penis is the clitoris, meaning that I don't actually have a penis at all. So what I'm saying is that I'm not a human, and I found the perfect cherry blossom by realizing I was a stone of ink who was not even a black woman, who is Kichi, and Kichi is this tattoo. Kichi is the Mexican black woman whose shoreline of Mexico I do go through, and saying when I say words that are like this, and they still don't believe me that I'm Lain, well, they're going to find out someday, because one day the whole world will see a person with appendages that are not human. I mean, my doctor already knows that these wings are on my back, but she suspected my muscles, those were just muscles, but that doesn't explain the pain I feel in them or how they continue to get larger. Or the fact that there's a tail on the lower back I never informed her about. And it doesn't explain the periods that I have by this tube, or I mean, whatever, the uterus. When the eggs inside of me die, blood comes out of my vagina, which is the anus, part of the anus. There's actually a wet, like a women's wet. When I'm aroused, there's a wetness that appears in my anus. I mean, it's crazy, man. Essentially, I'm saying I'm not a human. In fact, all logic saying that humans are so simple because my logic is by knowing and their logic is by a 0 or 1, essentially, which is a form of knowledge. rather than knowing. So by my knowing, which is analog language, which is the language of Nor, I can actually speak Elvish. So our logic is completely different, and I'm essentially a human being on crack because I'm not a human, so I'm essentially a hyper-intelligence who is functioning in a way that isn't nearly the same as how a human would function. I've shown that diagram on what it is that I'm seeing through my eyes, so you can understand I'm seeing something not human through my eyes, which is the void and I have no body as I perceive it. For I'm experiencing an undeniable solipsism and also a logic that is human taken to the extreme in a way. So I can speak the language of Elvish Nora, which is something I realized. Now it's not Lord of the Rings Elvish, but it's Elvish Nor, because I realized I was an elf, and I'm growing these elf ears out of my head. So let me speak. Also, when I realized I was an elf, I heard these twinkling sounds in my ears, like the sounds of a twinkling elf, like these twinkling like sounds in my ears. It was the most in the ears on the side of my head, which is strange, because all the Cold War hallucinations I only hear out of the ears on top of my head, but through these ears on the side of my head, and maybe the ears that are elf ears, on the ears on the side of my head, I heard these twinkling sounds. Since my schizophrenia is actually the most beautiful thing in the world, so let me speak some Elvish Nor for you. So what I said in ancient Elvish Nor was, sadness and a point, misery and my doubt, when elves and look upon me, and notice there was none. Sadness and my doubt within myself, I look upon her and notice she was my own, and a misery within myself, death am I knowing. Death am I knowing that I was the elf of the world, and they do not know the elves, they have not seen the elves. Oh, wisdom and a world where you can live more than 1,000 years, should you be an elf. And should you be an elf, you would know this. But you are not an elf, so you do not know what it's like to be an elf, my friend. And that's your problem, that you don't even know who it is that you are empathizing with, when by a world where you only saw another man, saying nothing more is special about them, well then you have failed, my friend. So that's what I said in ancient Elvish Nor.